Well, good afternoon guys. It's just about 3 o'clock now. It's Wednesday the 13th of February today. As you can see over my shoulder, I'm back down the tributary of the Avon that I've been fishing recently. Back down here on a Wednesday for one main reason, and that is I hope this comes across on the camera, it's a beautiful, beautiful colour. It's been right up and it's running off at the moment, and I'm hoping that with this extra bit of water on, but with it finding down, that the fish will be on the feed. That's really why I'm here. The Avon is very, very high at the moment, very chocolatey. So we may get back there at the weekend, but for today, as I say, we're down the tributary. I'm hoping to get some nice roach, to be honest with you. That would be really nice, but chub as well, of course, fantastic. I've been out a couple of times since you last saw me, and I'll update you on what's been happening in a short while. But for now, I'm quite keen to get my rod in the water. I've baited a few spots up down this end. It's a bit of a trek down here. It's about a 15-minute walk down, 20-minute walk down here. I'm going to work my way back up to the car. Baited a few spots on the way. So let's get the rod in the water, and then I'll let you know exactly what tackle I'm using and what I've been up to since you last saw me. Well guys, nothing doing in this first swim. I'm just about to move, but while I've just got the gear out of the water, I'll show you what I'm doing, what I'm using. I've got my, as you can see there, my John Wilson Avon quiver. This is the rod that does both float fishing and ledgering. It's got two different top sections. It's got a dolly section as well. You can fish at 11 or 13 foot. It's a little bit long for here. I've got it set at 11. But the reason I've bought it is today, rather than my TFG, which I've been using, is because I've got 1.5 ounce quiver tip on this. The TFG, is the smallest one, is 2 ounce. So it's going to be a lot more sensitive. I'm going to be able to see the bites a lot better. I've just got my Shimano Hyperloop 2500. These reels are ridiculously cheap and they're really, really good. I really like them. I've got a few of them. 6-pound main line. Got 4-pound hook links on. Fishing various different size hooks because the baits I'm using, bread. I may well use some maggots as well, and lobworms. So I'm going to use everything from probably a size 10, maybe to a 16, something like that, depending on what I've got on. And I'm just using a link ledger setup with a low resistance run ring, which you can see there. The link ledger is just attached by a quick link there, so I can change that. I may put a maggot feeder on, and it just goes down to a quick change, one of these quick change beads under there. I can just slip my hook link off really quickly. I've got an anti-tangle rubber. I'm actually fishing it backwards. If you can see that, it fits nicely over there, which means I don't have to have an anti-tangle rubber on the hook link. I've just got a bead above that to stop the low resistance rung ring sliding over that. That's the setup, fairly easy. As I say, nothing in this swim, so I think it's time to move on. Going to give it probably till just into dark again, like normal, about 6 o'clock. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I tend to fish just into dark. That's the idea. I don't fish too long after dark generally, certainly not here. So I think we'll cover as many swims as we can in that time. I'm not going to hang about too long. I think past experience tells me that if you're going to get a bite in a swim, it's usually within 10 minutes, 15 at the tops, and after that you're wasting your time, really. Time to move on. So I've been here about 10 or 15 minutes now, so I'm going to get just round this corner here. Fantastic. Well, this swim's becoming a bit of a banker spot. This is where I caught those nice roach a while back, and the chub last time. There we go, just had this fella out. That's fab. Beautiful, beautiful condition. That was on bread. Just the first trot through it was just sitting a little bit funny, so I just sort of pulled it and tightened it, the quiver tip up, when he saw the rest. Well, hopefully he saw the rest. The sun's opposite, but tip bang round, and there you go. Fab. Right, I'm going to stick him down here in the landing net. Hopefully we can have some of those nice roach that hang about down here. Of course, it's pushing through a lot faster than it normally does, or than it has done every time I've fished here previously. I've never fished here in conditions like this, so a little bit suck it and see. Wow. Perhaps I shouldn't have hooked him out of the water. Wow. Well, I've just changed over, put another shot on, so I can, on the link ledge I've got 3 swan shot on now, so I can keep the bait at the other side, and scaled down, put a smaller hook on, gone to a size 14, and just a lovely little dace. Fantastic. As soon as I chucked it in, just on a lob tail. Fab. Thought that might do the trick if I could just keep the bait on that far side over there. Brilliant. think there's any doubt on what this is. Fantastic. Well guys, how's about that? Fantastic. What a scrap as well. Put a worm through, nothing. Second run through with a bit of bread. Fantastic. This fella, beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. It's about 4:45 now, so I think we're going to just keep him in 10 minutes in the net, in the edge, just in case one of his mates fancies a bit of bread as well. So guys, it's about 10 past, 5:15 now. Stayed in that last swim a bit longer than I intended because about 5 minutes or so after I caught that chub, I was just reeling in a big lump of bread flake and it was still on the hook, and I drew it up, a big chub. Big chub struck at it, missed it, unfortunately. So I stuck it out to see if I could catch him, but unfortunately not. I don't know if he scared himself or what, but he wasn't having any of it. So what I've done is moved only about 15 metres or something down. This is almost a double bend here, almost doubles back on itself, the river. There's this nice sort of slack area in here. So I've just put a little bit of bread in, and never actually fished this spot before. We'll see what happens. A roach haven't turned up, which I'm a bit surprised at, a little bit disappointing, but you know, I'm not going to complain. We've had a couple of nice chub and that dace. I'll give it another hour I think yet. Fish into dark. It's certainly picked up since the light's gone. May look fairly light on here, but it's not. The sun is just setting at the moment. I think once we've fished here, we'll give it 15 minutes here. We'll go to a couple of spots. Certainly one spot that I have caught at before, so I can get in there when it's dark, no problem. I just remembered as well, I was going to tell you what's been happening since you last saw me. I think last time you saw me was a week ago Friday. It was here when it was really, really cold. I fished again after that. Actually, I went out just for an hour with Anastasia the following Sunday. Just for an hour. The water's actually frozen over. But we went out just for an hour, just with the float rod. She's started doing a little bit of drop shotting. She's really enjoying it, so she had a drop shot rod. She had a couple of nice perch. I should mention as well, we literally only went for an hour, so I didn't take the camera. I don't intend to. It's literally just over the road from home. But I got a couple of shots on my phone, and Anastasia caught a couple of perch on a drop shot. I was doing a bit of roach fishing, just catching a few roach, any sort of little stuff like this. and we noticed a pike had struck up one of the roach as I was bringing it in. So what I decided to do was, that happens fairly regularly there, and it was just starting to get dark, and I thought we might catch a pike if I put like a dead bait on, or I might even catch one of the zander. I've seen zander striking at stuff in there. So I put dead bait on under a float, went away straight away. We had the culprit, I think, pike, as you can see here. Fished probably another 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Same thing happened again. I literally dropped another dead bait out with the pipe, under the pipe bung, literally next to the ice, and away it went, sailed under. I was getting a bite then. So we had a couple of nice pike. Let Anastasia play them in. So she played them in, landed them, did very well. Taught her how to hold a pike as well. She's a little bit apprehensive at first, and he did tag her at one point, so a bit of claret, so she's a proper pike angler now. Now I think after that, I did nip out for a couple of hours, just as we had a milder day, down the private stretch, just for a couple of hours, as I say, as everything was thawing. The river was just rising, but absolutely nothing at all. No good, didn't do any good at all. And that was the middle of the week. I think that was about the Tuesday. Now I was out again there on the Friday. I'd arranged last Friday to go out with Mick, my mate Mick, and we went down there hoping for zander or pike, but the river was really on its way up there. We'd had plenty of rain, and it had coloured right up, and I was sort of reading that pike sort of tend to go off a little bit when the water colours up, but it was still a reasonable colour. It wasn't sort of chocolate brown, it was sort of reasonable, sort of greeny greyish colour, because the Avon does tend to switch off in my experience, when certainly the fish I fish for, when it colours up. So we went out fishing to dark. I think we were about 3 hours, something like that, but unfortunately didn't bank a fish. Mick had sort of a bit of interest on one of his baits, but it sort of dropped it, didn't really come to anything. I'm sure it was zander, and I had a decent take. It was taking line, and probably took about sort of 10 yards of line, I should think, and I thought, that's enough. I need to strike it. Well, not strike, wind down, because I'm using circle hooks, and I wound down to nothing. Got the bait in, and it's punctured. There's a couple of puncture marks in it. I had a knock then. So unfortunately a run each, but nothing. And that brings us to now. So that's what's been happening really. Not really a great deal, and the Avon is still up, but it is on its way down now. So I'm hoping in a couple of days, I'm hoping to get out Friday, if not Saturday, when it's in slightly better nick, and do a bit more predator fishing. So that's the plan for a couple of days' time. Well guys, it's gone 6:30 now, time for me to be going home. Unfortunately we haven't had anything else after that chub that we had. Had a couple of little knocks, but nothing sort of worth striking at. It's just a shame really. River seems absolutely bang on. I feel like I've fished effectively, we've had a few fish out, but they really don't seem to be having it like I expected they would, but it's fishing, isn't it? You never quite know. Anyway, I think next time you see me will be either, as I mentioned, Friday or Saturday, depending on the river conditions. I'm just going to play it by ear, depending how quickly it goes down and how quickly the colour drops out of it, because I would like to get after the pike as well as the zander. So all there is left to do is to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. We had a few fish, very enjoyable afternoon down here. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling, and I'll see you again at the weekend.